Unit 1, Small Talk, page 2. 2. Let's listen. People are talking at a party. Have they met before? Listen and check the correct answer. 1.
Say, I don't think we've met, have we?
No, I don't think so. My name's Donna.
Hi, nice to meet you, Donna. I'm Tim Clark.
2.
Hey, you're Bob Thompson, right?
That's right. And you're Jenny...
Yeah, Jenny Lindsay.
Yeah, right. We met at Bill's wedding.
Hey, you look great.
Well, so do you.
3.
Haven't we met somewhere?
No, I don't think so.
Aren't you Kevin Grant?
No, my name's Greg. Greg Brown.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was positive we'd met before.
4.
Jeff, hi. Remember me?
Sue? Sue Thomas.
That's right. We were in that computer course together.
Yeah, boy, was that boring.
Sure was. So how have you been?
Oh, not bad. Thanks.
5.
Oh, hi. You're Jonathan, aren't you?
Yes. And you're Wendy.
Yeah. We met at the conference in Hawaii last summer.
Right. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you, too.
6.
Hi. Don't we work in the same building?
Yes, I think we do.
I'm Gary James. I'm in accounting.
Hi, I'm Lynn Williams. I'm in marketing.
1.
Hey, Anne. That looks really nice on you. Is it new?
Yeah, I got it on sale at George Brothers Department Store. I never miss their sales. They have really good prices.
Well, you made a good choice. That color looks great.
Thanks.
Oh, look at the time. I didn't realize it was so late. I've got to run. It was good seeing you.
2.
What are you taking this year?
Mostly literature courses.
Oh, really? Are they any good?
Some of them are, except for Professor Scott's class. I mean, the books are interesting and the tests are pretty easy. But he tries to be funny all the time, and his jokes are really awful.
Really? What kind of jokes does he tell?
3.
What an awful month we're having.
It's pretty bad, isn't it? So hot and humid. It's hard to sleep at night, too. I wish I had air conditioning.
Me too.
Funny, it's not usually this hot in the fall.
That's true. Well, I think I'm going to get some more of those chips. Enjoy the party.
4.
So tell me, Maggie, what's he like? Well, he's really fun to be with. He always makes me laugh. That's what I like most about him.
He sounds really nice.
He is. And he's always giving me little presents. But I guess that will stop when he knows me better.
Yeah, probably. So how long have you known him anyway?
5.
So are you still doing the same thing, David?
Yeah, I am, unfortunately. I wish I was doing something more challenging.
So why don't you look for something else?
I really should. I feel stuck in that office, like I'm not moving ahead. That's the worst thing about it.
Well, good luck to you. If I hear about any jobs, I'll let you know.
6.
So, everybody's fine at home, Sarah?
Yes, they are, thanks. Oh, exciting news. My sister's going to get married next month.
Really? You mean Jenny?
That's right. She's marrying a guy she met when she was studying in Canada, and we're all going to Toronto for the wedding. It'll be fun.
Sounds great. And how about your brother? What has he been doing lately?
1.
Yes, I do. I really enjoy living here. So far, everything has been fine. The downtown area is really pretty, and I love all the cafes and restaurants there. The other thing I like is that it's very small, so it's easy to get to know people.
2.
Yes, I do. It's a very difficult language to learn, but I guess all languages are difficult. I tried to learn Japanese once, and it was really hard. These days, though, it's easier to learn a foreign language because you can buy some fantastic courses on video.
3.
I have 2 children, a boy and a girl. They're both going to school, so they keep us very busy. My husband comes from a big family and would love to have more children, but I think 2 is enough.
4.
I have a small design company. We design menus, calendars, and things like that. There are just 3 of us in the company. Last year was a very quiet year for us, but it looks like business is really improving this year. Would you like to visit our office sometime?
5.
Oh yeah, I've been having a great time since I arrived. Everyone has been very helpful, and I've made some wonderful new friends. I still have a few more days here, so I'm thinking of renting a car and driving up to the mountains.
6.
I'm from a town called Cairns on the northeast coast of Australia. It's not a very big town, but I enjoy living there. It's not far from the Great Barrier Reef. I'm sure you've heard of that, because it's one of the most famous places in Australia. You should go there sometime.
Unit 2, Part-Time Jobs, page 6. 2. Let's listen. Students are interviewing for part-time jobs. Have they ever done the work before? Listen and check the correct answer. 1.
Have you ever worked in a department store before?
No, I haven't, but it's something I'd really like to try.
2.
Is this the first time you've applied for a job as a waitress?
Well, not exactly. I worked behind the counter in the school cafeteria this year. I know it's not really the same, but it is similar.
3.
Do you have any experience with office work? No, but I'm sure it's something I could learn quickly.
4.
Have you ever modeled designer clothing before?
Yes. I did some modeling last summer, and I was even in a few fashion shows.
5.
It's a pretty easy job. You just take people's dogs out for a walk twice a day.
Well, I've never done it before, but it does sound pretty easy.
6.
We're looking for someone to work at the hotel reception desk.
Well, I had a similar job in another hotel last summer, and I really enjoyed it.
1.
How's your part-time job going, Ted?
It's great. I love it.
What exactly do you do there?
Well, I have to cut up fruit and make cakes and things. I'm learning a lot about how desserts are made. I'm also getting really good at doing dishes.
I'm sure.
And I also get to try everything we make.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, the only problem is the heat. It gets really hot because of the ovens.
2.
So, do you have a part-time job, Roxanne?
Yeah, I'm a camp counselor.
Oh, really? What do you do there?
I'm the sports instructor. I teach basketball and soccer, and I get to carry a big whistle. It's fun. The kids have a lot of energy, and they're really funny.
I bet.
The bad part is the money. The job doesn't pay very much at all.
3.
Did you manage to get a part-time job, Maria?
Yeah, finally. I'm working down at the Plaza Cinema.
Oh? Selling soda and popcorn?
No, I'm in the ticket booth.
So do you get to see all the latest movies for free?
That's right.
Wow, that's a great deal.
I know. The only problem is the hours. The last show is at midnight, so I get home really late, about 1:30 in the morning.
4.
Did you find a part-time job?
Yes, it took me a while, though. I looked for jobs in restaurants, but I couldn't find one. I finally managed to get a job in a factory.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
Actually, it's not bad, and the money's good. It's a clothing factory. They make shirts there, and I put the shirts into boxes.
Sounds easy.
Yes, it's very easy work. The problem is, it's also really boring work.
5.
How's your part-time job going?
It's going pretty well. I'm working for one of my professors. I'm helping her out with this big research project she's doing. I'm entering her data into the computer.
That sounds like interesting work.
It's not bad. And I can work at home, so that's nice too. My only complaint is with the money. She doesn't really pay me enough.
That's too bad.
6.
Did you get a new part-time job, Cindy?
Yeah, I'm working in a store. It's fun.
What kind of store?
It's a department store. I'm working in the sporting goods section. The people I work with are really friendly and helpful, and I'm learning a lot about sports equipment, too.
How are the hours?
That's the only thing I don't like. I have to work every weekend.
1.
I'm working as a tour guide here in Chicago. It's kind of fun. I take people around the city and show them all the places of interest in town. You know, the tall buildings, the lake, the art museum, places like that. The best part is meeting interesting people from all over the world. Most of the people on the tours are from Central and South America, so I get to practice my Spanish. For a tour guide, it's really important to know a second language.
2.
I'm working with a marketing company. We do market research for new products. I interview people on the phone and ask them questions about their spending habits, what they do in their free time, things they own or plan to buy, and so on. The salary is pretty bad, but it's a good job for me. The best part is that I have flexible hours. That means I choose when I want to work, so I can sleep late whenever I want to. The most important thing is to have a friendly voice. If you don't sound friendly on the phone, people won't want to talk to you.
3.
I'm working for a private school. We run after-school classes for kids, mainly for math and English. I'm teaching a math class. It's tiring, but I enjoy working with children. That's the best part. These kids are really smart, so I have to work hard to keep them interested. It's important to know what you're teaching. Luckily, I've taken a lot of math classes, so I feel prepared.
4.
I'm working for an advertising agency a few days a week. I'm just an intern, so I don't get paid. The best thing is the people I work with. My coworkers are terrific. I work in the library. They have all sorts of information there in a big computer database. People are always asking me to find information for them very quickly, so it's important to have experience with computers.
5.
I managed to get a job at a hotel. I'm working at the front desk. The hotel is usually pretty busy, so sometimes it's really stressful. I don't like that. The best part is that a lot of celebrities stay at our hotel. I've met some very famous people. To do this job well, it's important to have good listening skills. I have to find out exactly what each person wants and then give it to them right away.
6.
I'm working as a sales clerk in a department store. I work in the home furnishings department. We sell furniture and carpets mainly. It's hard work, but I like it. The best part is I get a commission on everything I sell, so I'm very well paid. The most important thing is to know what you sell. Customers expect it.
Unit 3. Successful Businesses. Page 10. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about different businesses. What do they dislike about each place? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
What's that new Indian restaurant like on 6th Street?
Well, everyone said it was very good, but I wasn't too satisfied when I went there the other night.
Why was that?
The food was good, but it took too long to come. We had to wait for nearly an hour before we got anything to eat.
Wow, that's terrible service.
2.
I'm going to get the textbook for our biology class at the campus bookstore. Do you want to come?
No, I don't think so.
Why not? Don't you think it's convenient having a bookstore right on campus?
Yes, it is. But have you compared their prices with other bookstores? That store at the mall is usually about 10% cheaper.
Oh, I didn't know that.
3.
Do you belong to a health club?
Not right now. I used to go to the Metropolitan Health Club on 3rd Street. I thought it was great because it was so cheap, but I stopped going there.
Really? I heard it was pretty popular.
That was the problem. It was too popular. It was always full of people. Sometimes I had to wait to use the machines.
That's no good.
4.
So how was the hotel in Hawaii?
It was pretty good. The staff was really nice, very friendly and helpful. There was one problem with it, though.
What's that?
The location. It was too far from the restaurants and discos. Next time, I think I'll stay much closer to town.
5.
Do you want to try Italian food tonight?
Sure. Where would you like to go?
How about Little Roma? You know, that Italian restaurant across from the movie theater? It's very cheap.
That's true, but the service is pretty bad. They have new waiters, and they're really slow. They're not very friendly either.
Oh, I didn't know that. Let's try another place.
6.
I heard there's a sale at Brenda's Boutique. Do you want to check it out? They have really good clothes.
I know, but the service is terrible. The people who work there are so rude.
I know what you mean.
1.
I really enjoy going there with friends after work. There's always something interesting on the menu. Also, I love the music. There's a great jazz band that plays there on Fridays, and it's always really crowded. I guess it's becoming the in place to go. Everyone wants to be seen there.
2.
I'm glad I decided to study there. My Spanish is much better now. It's pretty expensive, but the facilities are very good. They have all the latest stuff. You know, computers, videos, and everything. It's much better than the place I was going to last year.
3.
I've been going there for over a year. I just love the way they make my hair look. The stylists are really good at their work. I think they've all been trained abroad. The atmosphere makes you feel really at home, too, with coffee and snacks, plus really good music. Sure, it's not cheap, but I only go there every 2 months or so.
4.
It's a great place to stay. The atmosphere is so glamorous and exciting. There are bright lights at the front door, and people are always arriving in really expensive cars. The rooms inside are really great, too. Of course, it's not the cheapest hotel in Miami Beach, but it's definitely the best.
5.
I always take mine to this garage on Market Street. It takes a long time to get there from my house, but it's worth the trip. It's the best repair shop in the city. The mechanics do great work, and they never try to charge you too much. In fact, the prices are great. About half the price of the other places in town.
6.
I get almost all of my shirts there. You'll love it. All of their stuff looks great and fits perfectly. It's really good quality, too. They also have a lot of different styles and colors to choose from. The displays are a problem, though. They aren't organized well, so it takes a long time to find the size you want.
1.
I think the most important thing is service. If the customer feels like he was treated poorly, then he probably won't come back. That's why I train all of my workers to give excellent service. They greet customers politely, show them to a table right away, and explain the items on the menu. Of course, the food is important too. The fish has to be as fresh as possible, and you have to find talented chefs to prepare it.
2.
The internet has totally changed my business. In the old days, people had to come to a travel agency to get tickets. Now they can do that on their own. So when they come to me, they're looking for a good value. That's really the most important thing. Of course, convenience is also important for some clients who don't have the time to plan their own trips.
3.
These days, nothing is more important than speed. Time is money. People want a job done well, but they want it done quickly. And they're usually prepared to pay a little more if you can promise it will get done fast. And of course, quality is important too. We're building people's homes, so we want them to enjoy living there for a long time.
4.
It's so important to have the right kind of displays. Creating an effective clothing display is an art. You want people to see the item right away, pick it up, touch it, and then go try it on. And you want them to buy it, too. Good prices are also important, but the display is really the number one thing.
Unit 4. Gadgets and Machines. Page 14. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about these gadgets. Listen and number the pictures. 1.
Yes, these are great in the winter for keeping the place warm. It's got a fan as well, so it warms the whole room. And the best thing is, it's so light. Pick it up and feel how light it is.
2.
These are really handy when you're reading. You see, you put your book here. It even holds the pages down. And I love this. See, it's got its own light for reading at night.
3.
If you listen to a lot of music, you really need one of these. It cleans off dust, dirt, and fingerprints, and gives you a much better sound from your CDs.
4.
Oh, this? Well, we have a Persian cat. She's actually a show cat. She's won quite a few medals this year. This is her carrier. We take her everywhere in it. Nothing but the best for her.
5.
You keep this in the kitchen in case there is a power failure. It's got a really strong light.
6.
This thing really comes in handy. I always carry it with me. I keep my friends' addresses and telephone numbers in it. You really should get one.
1.
That's funny. It isn't working. I keep pushing the button, but it won't take any pictures.
Maybe you need more film.
No, that's not it. I put in a new roll of film this morning.
What about the batteries?
I guess they're pretty old.
That's the problem. The batteries are dead.
That must be it.
You should replace them.
2.
This machine didn't clean my clothes very well. I had to wash everything twice.
Really? Did you put a lot of clothes in there?
Yeah, I filled it to the top.
Oh, that's the problem. You put in too much clothing.
Really?
Yeah. Do you see this line on the inside of the machine? You shouldn't fill it above that line.
3.
This thing is useless. I've done the living room floor twice, but it still isn't clean.
Have you checked the dust bag?
The dust bag?
Yes. Everything it picks up goes into the dust bag inside. Here, let me check. You see, that's the problem. The dust bag is full.
Yeah, you're right.
You should replace the bag with a new one.
4.
I think this machine is jammed. It won't print any of my documents.
Let me take a look at it. Yes, it is jammed. The paper is stuck inside it.
How did that happen?
Let's see. Ah, here's the problem. You used the wrong paper size.
Oh, sorry.
Don't worry about it. But you should use the right paper size next time.
5.
Hey, what are you sewing?
I'm making a dress for the party. Oh, no, look. It's all jammed up.
You know what the problem is? This needle is too small for your fabric.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
You should use a bigger needle.
6.
This should make a great fruit drink. I love making these in the summer. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound right. What happened?
Did you put in a lot of ice?
Yeah, I guess I did.
That's the problem. You put in too much ice so the blades can't move.
Oh.
You should use less ice next time.
1.
This flat-screen TV works great if you take care of it properly. The image is sharp and the color is perfect. It's really convenient because you can hang it on the wall, not like those old clunky TVs that were so big and boxy and took up half of the living room. Direct sunlight is not good for it, so you shouldn't put it near a window.
2.
This is the latest model of laptop computer. Feel how light it is. It weighs only 1.5 kilos. It's amazing, isn't it? Now, it's pretty strong, but you still need to be careful with it. It comes with a nice protective case, so you should keep it inside the case when you carry it. You wouldn't want to drop it. That could damage the screen.
3.
You'll like this air conditioner a lot. You can adjust the temperature and the fan speed very easily using this remote control. You should close all the doors and windows when you use it. It's amazing how many people forget to do this and then wonder why it's not cooling their house.
4.
This is the best dryer we have. It holds up to 3 kilos, but it's not too big, so you can fit it in a small apartment. Now, you should always clean the lint filter before you use it. It's very easy to clean. All you need to do is pull out the filter, empty it out, and then put it back in again. It's really important to do it every time you use it. If you don't, the dryer might get too hot and burn your clothes.
5.
This will get your dishes nice and clean. It's very powerful, so you don't have to rinse anything before you wash it. That's the best feature. Now remember, you shouldn't put too much soap into it. If you use too much soap, your dishes will come out sticky.
6.
You'll enjoy using this lawnmower. It has a big gas tank, so you can usually run it for about an hour without adding gas. You just have to be careful about one thing. You shouldn't put your hand under the machine. That blade is very sharp, and you could really hurt yourself.
Unit 5. Character Traits. Page 18. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about their friends and classmates. What is each person like? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Jeff is the perfect elementary school teacher. He's so good with children.
I know what you mean. Those kids never make him angry.
2.
Sheila is a very effective speaker. When she talks, people stop and listen.
That's right. A lot of people even change their opinions after talking to her.
3.
How does Mary like her new job?
Oh, she loves it. She's really excited about working there. In fact, she's cheerful all the time.
4.
I've been having problems with my boss lately.
Why is that?
Well, he has a lot of rules. He's really angry if I come to work a few minutes late, or leave early, or take a long lunch. And if I make a tiny mistake, he gets really mad.
5.
I don't know about you, but I'm voting for Dave Thomas for class president. He knows everything about this school and all the important issues.
Yeah, he really knows what he's talking about.
6.
My landlady is really nice. She doesn't get angry if I pay the rent a few days late. And when I'm sick, she always brings me homemade chicken soup.
Wow, that's really sweet.
1.
What do you think of Chris?
I like talking with him. He knows something interesting about practically everything.
Yeah, I know. And he's really serious about studying, too. He wants to go to medical school, so his grades have to be perfect.
He must be a good student.
He's a great student. Top of the class last year.
2.
You know Brandon Kent, don't you?
Oh, sure. He's really sweet. He took a whole day off last month to help me move into my new apartment. Then he drove me to the mall so I could pick up some furniture for my new place.
Yeah, that's what I like about him. In fact, he's coming over this afternoon to help me with my math assignment.
Lucky you.
3.
I just can't stand that Terry Day.
Really?
Yeah. The other day, we were walking past this poor homeless man on the street. You know, one of those guys who lost his job and doesn't have any money.
Sure, I know what you mean.
Well, as soon as we walked past him, Terry made jokes about his clothes.
No way. That's terrible.
4.
Are you going to Tony's party on Friday night?
Yeah, are you?
Of course. He has great parties, don't you think?
Definitely. It's because he's so excited about things. Everyone sees him dancing and laughing and having fun, and then they start enjoying themselves too.
You're right.
Yeah, he's really an amazing guy.
5.
Have you seen Patrick recently?
No, I haven't. We were supposed to go to a concert last weekend, but he said he was too sick to go.
Oh, that's too bad.
The thing is, he didn't tell me the truth. My brother saw him at a party the same night, dancing and having a good time.
Oh, I really hate people who lie like that.
Me too.
6.
I just talked to Chuck.
How is he today?
The same as usual. It's impossible to make him smile. Talking to him is really difficult. It's easy to say some little thing that really upsets him.
I know. I wonder why he's like that.
I think it's because he isn't doing well at school this year.
1.
Ever since John got that new job, you wouldn't recognize him. I guess you have to be more conservative when you have a job like that. He works really long hours now, and he wears a suit and a tie. And when he comes home from work, he never wants to go out. All he does is sit in his chair and watch TV. He looks totally exhausted. That's not how he was in college. Back then, he used to go around in old t-shirts and jeans, and he had that crazy green hair.
2.
I ran into Donna Simpson the other day. I could hardly recognize her. Do you remember her from high school? She was a little chubby and out of shape back then. I don't think she ever exercised or played any sports. Well, she really looks different now. She's lost a lot of weight. In fact, she looks terrific. She told me that she decided to get in better shape after she got married last year. Now she goes to the gym 3 times a week.
3.
Have you had a chance to talk to Rosie lately? She's gotten so depressed. You know, sad and worried all the time. It's a real change. She used to be so enthusiastic in high school. She was a cheerleader and she was always laughing and making jokes. Now she just sits in coffee shops all by herself and just looks really sad. You can tell that something's really bothering her. It must be her boyfriend. I heard they recently broke up.
4.
Do you remember what Ted Rogers used to look like? He used to be so athletic, with really big muscles. He went to the gym all the time and was always careful about what he ate and drank. Well, you wouldn't believe how much he's changed. I'm sure he weighs over 100 kilos now. It doesn't look like he does any exercise at all, and he eats just about anything. Someone told me he changed after he got really rich from the stock market. They said that after he got rich, he decided just to enjoy himself.
Unit 6. Cooking. Page 22. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about how to make different kinds of food. Listen and number the pictures. 1.
It's easy to make a Caesar salad. Just take some fresh romaine lettuce and chop it into big pieces. Then put it in a big bowl, add the dressing, and mix it all together. Finally, when you're ready to eat it, sprinkle some shredded Parmesan cheese on top.
2.
My grandmother is from New Orleans, and she makes the best gumbo. That's a kind of soup. She pours broth in a big pot, and she adds shrimp and mushrooms. She adds a lot of spices too, like salt and pepper, and some other spices that are a big secret. Then she stirs it and cooks it for hours.
3.
On Saturday mornings, I usually sleep in and make pancakes. You pour some flour and sugar in a bowl. Then you add water, an egg, and oil and mix it together. Then you pour it in a hot frying pan. I like to spread a lot of butter on the pancakes when they're done. That's what makes them taste so great.
4.
Whenever there's a big game on TV, I invite my buddies over and make some burritos. First, you fry some ground beef with spices. Then you get some tortillas. You know, Mexican flatbread that looks like really thin pancakes? Anyway, you put the beef on a tortilla, plus tomatoes, cheese, and chopped lettuce. Then you roll it all together and eat it with your hands. It's delicious.
5.
There's this Korean restaurant on campus that serves an amazing dish called bibimbap. You've got to try it. They cut all these vegetables into little pieces, add some beef, and cook it all together with this really spicy sauce in a hot bowl. Then they put a big fried egg on top of it.
6.
Well, I don't know how to really make ravioli. I bet it takes hours to make pasta yourself. So I just buy it frozen from the store. You boil a pot of water and pour in the little squares of pasta. When it's done, you drain the pasta, then you pour sauce over it and eat it. My favorite ravioli is the kind with cheese inside it.
1.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Cooking Today. I'm your host, Jack Murphy, and today we're going to make some crepes that will knock your socks off. Seriously, guys, you're going to love these crepes. All right, first thing, you've got to get your ingredients together. You need some flour, some milk, and an egg. Just put them on your kitchen table like I'm doing here. Oh yeah, and you'll need some sugar too, because that's what makes the crepes sweet.
2.
Now you're ready to measure your ingredients. You want 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of milk. And of course you want the whole egg. You can't cut an egg anyway. Ha! That's a little kitchen joke for you guys. As for the sugar, you need just a pinch. That means a very, very small amount. Too much sugar will make your crepe taste awful.
3.
Once you've measured all your ingredients, pour them together in a big bowl. You see how I did that? Pour it nice and slow. Then stir it all together with a fork. Yeah, that's it. Mix it up. Stir it until you get a nice smooth liquid. That liquid is called the batter.
4.
Okay, so you've mixed the ingredients together. Now you're ready for the frying pan. Put the pan on the stove, heat it up, and put some butter on it. You don't need a lot of butter. Just put a little bit in the pan so the crepe won't stick to it. All right, now we're ready. All you do is pour the batter on the pan. When the bottom gets a little brown, flip it over. Yeah, just like that. Then you just put some strawberry jelly on there, and you're ready to eat.
1.
Hey, Jen, how was your trip to Taiwan?
Amazing. I can't wait to go back there. My favorite thing was eating dim sum.
Dim sum? What's that?
Well, it's all kinds of different little foods, like fried pancakes, egg rolls, or fried rice and vegetables. You go out with your friends to the restaurant, and the waiters bring all the different dishes around in carts while you sit around and drink tea. If you see something you like, you're supposed to wave to the waiter. It's really fun.
Yeah, it sounds great.
2.
You used to work in Saudi Arabia, Tony. What's a traditional meal like there?
Oh, you would love it. Everyone sits on cushions, on a nice carpet, and drinks cups of sweet coffee. Then you eat kebab with your hands.
Kebab? That's like barbecued meat, right?
That's right. You cut pieces of meat and vegetable and grill them. It's sometimes served over rice.
It sounds great.
Just remember one thing. In Saudi Arabia, it's very important to make the guest happy. So, if the host offers you something, you should try to eat it. If you refuse something, you might hurt his feelings.
Thanks for the advice.
3.
Anna, can I ask you something? I'm going to Spain this summer, and I want to try something really Spanish. What do you recommend?
Oh, paella, of course. You take rice, meat, seafood, vegetables, and all kinds of spices, and you cook it all together in a really huge pan. It's our most famous dish.
It sounds great.
But if you really want to experience paella, you've got to eat it like the people in Spain do. We like to eat our dinners really late at night, like at 9 or 10 o'clock. Then we go out to the discos and dance all night.
Wow, I can't wait to go.
4.
Hey, Mike. I heard you were studying abroad last semester in India.
Well, actually, I was in Nepal. It's a small country just north of India.
Wow. What was that like?
Really fun. The only thing I had trouble adjusting to was the food. My host family ate a dish called dal bhat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just rice with this sort of bean soup poured over it. Sometimes it had vegetables on it. It was really difficult to eat because in a Nepali home, you're supposed to eat with your right hand only.
That sounds rough.
It was.
5.
I'm in kind of a hurry today, Luca. Would you mind if we just grabbed a quick lunch at a fast food joint?
Oh, man. I would never hear that in Italy.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, long lunches are an important part of Italian culture. I like to meet my friends at a nice restaurant, order some appetizers, and then eat lasagna al forno. That means lasagna cooked in an oven. And after you're done eating, you're not supposed to leave right away. You should sit around for a while, just drinking coffee and chatting.
That sounds nice. I wish we could do that here.
6.
Hey, Miho, that smells great. What are you cooking?
Thanks. It's sukiyaki. It's one of the most popular dishes in Japan. You cook thinly sliced meat and vegetables in a big pot. We like to eat it in the winter. Oh yeah, and some people like to dip the meat in raw egg.
Really? You mean they dip it in uncooked eggs? That's pretty weird.
Many Japanese customs probably seem strange to you. For example, when you're eating noodles, it's okay to make slurping sounds. Most Americans probably think that's rude, but it isn't rude in Japan.
Wow, I never knew that.
Unit 7. Housing. Page 26. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about housing. What kind of house or apartment does each person need? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Well, I'm single and I spend a lot of time traveling, so I'm not home very much. So there's really no point in my spending money on a large place with lots of rooms.
2.
We've got 3 small children, and they like to play outside, so I don't think it makes sense for us to live in a high-rise building.
3.
I work right in the city, and I don't have a car. I'd like a place close to my work, so that I don't have to spend a lot of time commuting.
4.
I run my own business, and I work from my home. I'm lucky because I don't have to go into town very often, so I'd like a place that's quiet and away from the city.
5.
I need a new place. I need a good-sized apartment because I have 2 teenage sons and they each need to have their own bedroom. We want to live downtown, too.
6.
Both my wife and I work for an airline, and we'd like something fairly close to work. We don't mind if it's small, because there's only the 2 of us. We don't even mind the noise of the planes. In fact, we kind of like it.
1.
The apartment I rent is okay. It's near the stores, so it's convenient for shopping. The problem, though, is that the owner hasn't spent any money on the place in years. The furniture is falling apart, and the carpet in the living room is stained in places.
2.
My neighbors are fantastic. They're really friendly, and some of them have great parties, too. I'd like more space, though. There's hardly enough space for all my stuff. I guess I should throw some of it out, but I just can't.
3.
There are advantages and disadvantages of living out here in the suburbs. It's not really the most convenient place to live. It takes forever to get into town, especially during rush hours. And there aren't any good stores out here. On the other hand, it's nice and quiet on the weekends.
4.
I love my apartment. I wish I could afford to stay here. The location is perfect. It has a great view of the park, and I love being able to step outside and walk to cafes and shops. The only problem is the rent. It's just too high now, so I can't stay.
5.
My place is huge. It has room for all my stuff, and there's a big kitchen, too. Of course, it's really old, so it needs a coat of paint and some new furniture. The furniture is really ancient. I think the stove is about 100 years old.
6.
I recently moved into an apartment building for the first time. It takes a while to get used to having neighbors right next door. I feel like they're always listening to me, like they want to know everything I do. It's annoying, but the rent is much cheaper, and I like that.
1.
We used to have a nice apartment downtown. It had great views of the city. But then these new people moved in upstairs. They played loud music all the time, and the sound came straight through the ceiling and into our apartment. It was terrible, so we moved. Now we're living in a small house in the suburbs. It's wonderful. Our neighbors don't make any noise.
2.
My new apartment is on a high floor, and it's great. There's no noise at all. I only hear the birds in the park. Before that, I lived in a first-floor apartment. It had a little yard, which was nice. But I heard people coming and going all the time, and it was close to the street, so I heard all the traffic, too.
3.
We didn't really want to move because we loved the apartment. We had a wonderful landlady, too. She didn't raise the rent for years, and if anything was broken, she would get it fixed really fast. But with the children getting older, we needed to be closer to a good school. So that's why we moved. Now we live in an apartment in the suburbs.
4.
I used to live in a nice apartment downtown, in a pretty interesting neighborhood. But the thing was, they wouldn't let you keep a pet. I really wanted to get a dog, so I moved to a place where you could keep pets. Now, I live in a building near the park. And there's 2 of us. Me and my dog, Spot. We play in the park all the time.
5.
My new apartment has a huge kitchen and a great stove. I'm really happy about it. I love to cook and have parties, but the kitchen in my old place was so tiny, and the dining room was small too. The location was good, but I could never have people over for dinner, so I needed to find something different.
6.
I used to live in a house. I had a nice yard in the front and another yard in the back. The trouble was the maintenance. It was really expensive to take care of. So I moved. Now I live in an apartment with no yard. Even though I have much less space now, it's wonderful because it's a lot cheaper.
Unit 8. Apartment Problems. Page 30. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about problems with their apartments. What problems do they describe? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
My apartment's nice, but the walls are too thin. I can hear my neighbors all the time, even when they're asleep. One of them really snores.
2.
My neighbor is driving me crazy. I don't know what she's up to, but she's always banging or hammering something late at night.
3.
Would you believe that the garbage trucks pick up the trash at 5 a.m.? Last week I had to run outside in my pajamas and throw the garbage onto the truck as it was passing by. They should come a little later.
4.
I'm tired of having people ringing my doorbell at dinner time. It's gotten to the point where I don't even like answering the door anymore. It seems like someone's always trying to sell me something.
5.
I really need the landlord to look at my kitchen. It needs a new stove and a new refrigerator. The ones I've got are so old they don't even work anymore.
6.
My neighbor's really a sweet old man, but I can't stand his dog. It messes up my garden all the time.
1.
Well, to start with, look at the wall underneath the window. Water must have come in sometime and stained it. It really needs painting.
2.
And this carpet is awful. It's old and stained, and the color's horrible. We've got to ask the landlord for a new one.
3.
I think that switch is broken. The one for the lamp next to the sofa. Well, try it. It doesn't work.
4.
Look, this door is falling off. It's so loose. It really needs to be fixed.
5.
This sofa needs recovering, doesn't it? I mean, it's really worn thin. I wonder if we can get the landlord to recover it. There's nothing wrong with it apart from that.
6.
I think the TV needs fixing too. The reception is very bad, so I guess we'd have to put up a bigger antenna. Say, do we really want this apartment?
1.
I'm tired of the ads we get all the time in our mailboxes. Could you put a sign in the lobby that says no flyers? I'm tired of having all this junk mail stuffed into my mailbox.
Oh, I know. It's a real nuisance. That's a good idea. You know, I've been meaning to do that for a long time. I'll get one today.
2.
I'm afraid the living room really needs painting. It's been several years since we moved in, and the apartment looks really dirty. Do you think you could get it painted?
No, I don't have time right now. But you're welcome to paint it yourself if you want to.
3.
I'm having trouble with the neighbors' children. They play their music at all hours of the night. It's terrible. Can you tell them to stop?
Oh, they're really very nice kids. They've only done it a few times. I don't think it's worth getting upset about.
4.
I was wondering if I could get a new refrigerator in the kitchen. The one I've got is very old and just doesn't keep things cold.
Yes, it is pretty old. I'll get a new one for you next month.
5.
I think the faucet in the bathroom needs fixing. It leaks all the time. All it does is drip, drip, drip all night. It's driving me insane.
Okay, I'll get someone to come and have a look at it.
6.
The curtains in the living room are really worn out. Do you think you could get us some new ones?
Oh, those belong to the people who were there before you. The apartment doesn't come with curtains. I'm afraid you'll have to get your own.
Unit 9. Friendship. Page 34. 2. Let's listen. People are describing their friends. What qualities are they talking about? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
I really like Allison. She's such fun to be with. She always makes me laugh. Did she tell you the story about her first date? I don't think I've laughed so hard in my whole life.
2.
I went out with this guy a couple of times. Ted Roberts. Maybe you know him. He's okay, I guess, but the guy's got no future. I think he just wants to spend the rest of his life surfing.
3.
Tony Lee asked me out the other night, and I said no. You know, he is really embarrassing to be with. Last time I went out to a party with him, he nearly got into a fight with someone. Then later on, he ended up spilling his drink all over me.
4.
I've been out with Sandra Bronstein a few times. She's really an interesting person. I didn't realize her father is a pretty well-known artist, and her mother is a successful stockbroker. I'd like to meet her parents sometime, but I don't think she's too serious about me. She hasn't invited me to meet them yet.
5.
Do you know Rob, the guy in our Spanish class? Anyway, he's invited me out on a date. You know the one I mean. He's kind of thin, very tall, with long curly hair. Just my type.
6.
I was stuck with Martha at a dinner party the other day. No matter what I said, I couldn't get her to smile. I wonder what her problem is.
1.
Hello?
Oh, hello, Lynn. This is Dave.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Say, are you doing anything on Saturday?
Not much.
Well, some friends of mine are having a barbecue. Do you want to come with me?
Oh, that sounds like fun. What can I bring?
2.
Hello?
Hey, Paula, it's Tina. I'm calling about next week. I wondered if you had anything planned for Wednesday?
No, not really. Why?
Well, there's going to be a talk at the bookstore by that guy who we read in class last semester. Remember? It's Dave Dobbs, that famous environmentalist.
Oh, yeah, sure. That sounds kind of interesting, and I don't really have anything planned.
Great. I'll meet you at the bookstore.
Okay, see you there.
3.
Hi, Rose. How are you?
Not bad. And you?
Okay. Listen, are you interested in going to an art exhibit on Sunday? A friend of mine is having an exhibition of her paintings. It's the opening night. Free drinks and food.
Well, actually, I don't have anything planned. It sounds kind of fun. Why not?
4.
Hi, Ron.
Oh, hello, Susie.
Do you have any plans for tonight? I was thinking of going out for a pizza.
Gee, I'd really love to, but I have to work late.
Too bad.
Yeah, really.
5.
Doing anything after class?
Nothing much.
Why don't we go downtown and take a look at that new music store?
Great idea. There are some new CDs I really want to get.
6.
Hey, George, are you interested in going to the car show? It's going on at the exhibition center.
Yeah, I like those kinds of shows. When is it?
It opens on Saturday morning.
How about we go in the afternoon? I want to sleep late.
That's fine with me.
1.
I'd really like to see this. Kids from all over the country are participating, and the things they're playing sound really difficult. There's one kid who's been playing the violin since he was 4 years old.
When is it?
Let's see. It's Saturday afternoon.
Gee, I'd really like to see it, but I was planning to watch soccer on TV that day.
2.
Hey, this sounds interesting. You get to see how all sorts of unusual foods are prepared, and you get to try different dishes, too. They have chefs from Japan and India, from China, from Mexico, and from Italy, too. What do you think?
Well, it does sound interesting, but I can't. I've just started a new diet, so I can't eat too much.
3.
Let's go and see this. I love these kinds of events. A lot of famous people will be there. All of the actors are coming to see it, and the director and producer, too.
Really?
Yes. We need to get to the theater early, though, to get a good view. Thousands of people always show up for these premieres.
Actually, I'd rather not go. I hate big crowds.
4.
This event down at the bookstore could be interesting. It'll be a chance to get a famous person's autograph.
Oh, yeah? Are you into autographs?
Sure. And the author will be signing copies for free.
Yeah, but she's not really one of my favorite writers. In fact, I think her books are pretty boring.
5.
Let's go and watch this tomorrow afternoon. It should be a good game. The home team just got 2 really good new players.
But haven't they lost a lot of games recently?
Well, yeah, but they're playing better now.
Thanks for asking me, but I'll stay at home. I heard it's going to be pretty cold tomorrow.
6.
Let's check out this exhibition at the gallery downtown. These artists sound pretty interesting.
What artists? Any big names?
No, not really.
Well, thanks anyway, but I'm only interested in famous artists.
Unit 10. Television. Page 38. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about TV. What kind of program did each person watch? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Did you watch it today? I missed it. It was great, one of the best episodes ever. But now Ted has married Mary, and Mary's daughter is upset. So Ted's worried and Mary's miserable. I can't wait to see what happens tomorrow.
2.
Did you watch the program on Channel 2?
I started to, but I had to go out. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Who won the grand prize?
A 20-year-old university student. She won a new car.
3.
How was that program you watched the other night?
It was fascinating. I learned so much from it. It was all about Canada and all of the amazing animals that live up there. Now I really want to go there.
4.
So what's been happening?
Well, there was another big earthquake in India yesterday.
Really? That's terrible.
And there were some major floods up north. Lots of people have had to move out of their homes.
5.
Did you watch the game?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Too bad it rained.
Yeah, the players must have gotten soaked.
I know, and just imagine the spectators.
6.
Did you enjoy that program after the news?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. The photography was great. I often wonder how they can take photographs of birds flying like that. You get the impression you're up there flying with them.
1.
At 9 p.m. tonight, a panel of experts will discuss developments in information technology and how new inventions are going to change the way we watch TV. If you're a person who loves technology, this is the show for you.
2.
Tonight's documentary is about new treatments that have been developed for cancer. It will report on major breakthroughs in cancer research, including an exciting new way of dealing with some of the most common cancers. People over 40 will definitely find this program worth watching.
3.
There will be an interesting documentary at 10 p.m. here on Channel 13. It deals with modern architecture and discusses the influence of some of the major 20th century architects on cities around the world. People interested in architecture will find this show fascinating.
4.
Coming up on Channel 7 tonight is Sea Crazy, a very funny new sitcom about an ocean cruise where everything goes wrong. Tonight, the kitchen staff goes on strike, and the passengers have to cook their own meals, with hilarious results. People who are thinking of taking a cruise should stay tuned for this one.
5.
Tonight at 9 p.m., only on Channel 7, the final round of the game show, Question Time. 20 contestants will play for the big prize, $1 million. They'll answer questions about history, movies, sports, and even math. This is the perfect show for people who love facts and trivia.
6.
Later tonight, it's America's #1 late-night talk show, The Night Show. Tonight's guests are movie star Stephanie Sanchez and the rapper B Cash B. People who love movies and music shouldn't miss it.
1.
Oh, they're showing that cooking program I like on Channel 5 tonight. I really loved the woman on that program.
Yeah, she's that British chef, right? I really like her too. I tried some of her recipes the other day. They're really good, and none of them are that difficult to make.
2.
Do you like magic shows? There's going to be a great one on TV tonight.
Well, honestly, I think those shows are really frustrating. I hate trying to figure out how magicians do their tricks.
That's too bad. So, I guess you don't want to watch that program with me.
No, definitely not.
3.
Are you going to watch the big tennis tournament on TV Saturday afternoon? It looks like it's going to be a good match.
I know, but I don't really enjoy tennis on TV. I'd rather play tennis than watch it.
4.
I see there's an interesting documentary about Australian wildlife on TV tomorrow. Let's watch it.
Okay. I love nature shows. I think the photography is amazing. I mean, they can follow a tiny insect all around, even when it's underground.
5.
Hey, that travel show is on tonight. You know the one. They follow this guy on his vacation, and he's always camping in dirty, cheap places. It's very interesting.
Actually, that doesn't sound very interesting to me. I'd rather watch a show about staying at an expensive hotel.
6.
Oh, that antiques show is on tonight.
I love that show. People bring in their antique furniture and stuff. Sometimes that old junk turns out to be worth thousands of dollars. It's really amazing.
Actually, I think it's boring. I'd rather watch something exciting like an action movie or sports.
Unit 11, Cities. Page 42. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about different cities. What do they like about each city? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
I think Rio de Janeiro is one of the most interesting cities in South America. The nightlife is great. They have great musicians, so there is always good music in the cafes. Crime is a problem, though, so you have to be careful.
2.
Sydney is one of my favorite cities in Australia. There are some great buildings there, like the famous Opera House. The only problem is the weather. Spring and fall are okay, but the summer is too hot for me.
3.
Montreal is a nice city to visit, but don't go in the winter. It's much too cold. The rest of the year is great. There are plenty of clubs, restaurants, and other places to go at night.
4.
One of my favorite cities in Asia is Hong Kong. It used to be a British colony, so it has a fascinating mixture of Chinese and Western culture. On the downside, the pollution has gotten pretty bad. Sometimes the air is really dirty.
5.
When I went to Hawaii, I spent the first few days in Honolulu. Everything was really expensive there, especially in the restaurants. $4 for a soda. But the beaches were wonderful, especially Waikiki Beach. The water was so clean.
6.
In Los Angeles, you have to drive everywhere, and sometimes the traffic is terrible. But that's the only bad part. There are a lot of fun things to see, like Hollywood, Disneyland, and the movie studios.
Hey Bob, guess what? I'm going to visit Quebec next summer. I have to go to a friend's wedding, but I also want to stay a while longer and do some sightseeing.
That's great, Dave. But do you mean the province of Quebec or Quebec City?
I guess I mean the province. The wedding is in Montreal, so I'm going there first. I'll be there for about 4 days. Montreal is the capital of the province, right?
Well, a lot of people think so because it's the biggest city, but it's not actually the capital. Quebec City is the capital. But Montreal is great. The St. Lawrence River runs right through the middle of the city. It's beautiful in the winter.
Wow. And do you think I can get by in English? My French is okay, but not great. I know most people there speak French, but can I also use English?
Well, people speak both French and English there, but you'll hear French most of the time, and all of the street signs are in French. In fact, Montreal is the third largest French-speaking city in the world. So you'd better practice your French before you go.
Oh, that's good advice. Now what about Quebec City? I'm going to visit a friend from college who lives there now. What's it like?
It's a beautiful city, very old. A lot of old buildings have been nicely restored. Some of them were built in the 17th and 18th centuries. You'll love it there.
Great. I can't wait to go.
1.
I went to Mexico City for the first time last summer, and I managed to use my Spanish every day. I mean, I still had to use my Spanish-English dictionary a lot, but I was really proud of myself. The only bad experience I had there was when someone stole my purse while I was having lunch in a restaurant. Next time, I'll watch my purse more carefully.
2.
You wouldn't believe what happened on my vacation to Thailand. I lost my wallet in a taxi. I thought I would never see it again. But that evening, the taxi driver came to my hotel and gave my wallet back to me. I was so relieved. The last day I was there, though, I got food poisoning from some fish. Next time, I won't order any seafood.
3.
While I was in Greece last summer, I met a really nice Greek family on the boat to the island of Corfu. They invited me to spend a few days with them at their beach house there. What a great house. Anyway, I also went down to Crete. I arrived without a hotel reservation, and every place I tried was full, so I had to sleep at the bus station for the first 2 nights. It was awful. Next time, I'll make reservations before I go.
4.
My trip to Hawaii this summer was great. The thing I liked the most was going snorkeling at a beach near Honolulu. The water is crystal clear and full of the most beautiful tropical fish I've ever seen. I'll never forget it. Unfortunately, though, I spent too much time in the sun and I got the worst sunburn of my life. I had to go to the doctor to get something for it. Next summer, I'll use suntan lotion every day.
5.
I really enjoyed my visit to London. I wish I could have stayed there for a month instead of just for a week. The thing I really enjoyed was the British Theatre. I went almost every night and saw some really famous actors. Unfortunately, I didn't realize how expensive London can be. I ran out of money after a week, so I had to come home. I'm bringing a lot more money for my next trip.
6.
I just came back from a vacation in Tokyo. I did just about everything. I even went to Tokyo Disneyland. In fact, I had such a good time there that I went back again the next day. One thing I didn't realize, however, was how cold Tokyo can be in the winter. I didn't take enough warm clothing with me and I caught a terrible cold. If I ever go back there, I'm going to take a sweater.
Unit 12. Urban Life. Page 46. 2. Let's listen. People are describing the cities where they live. What topic are they talking about? Circle the correct answer. 1.
It used to take me about an hour to get in from the airport, but now it takes me more than 2 hours. There's so much traffic these days.
2.
There used to be some really good stores downtown, but lots of them moved out to the mall. Now downtown looks pretty deserted.
3.
The city council has done a great job in providing places for young people to go in their free time. There are lots of baseball fields and public parks in the city now.
4.
There are more jobs for young people than there used to be. You see lots of companies advertising to train young, inexperienced workers.
5.
I don't eat out much anymore because there aren't any interesting places near my apartment. They've all closed down. It's really too bad.
6.
They built the new highway over there a couple of years ago. We used to hear the cars and trucks all day and all night. But then they planted trees along the side of the road to form a sound barrier. Now it's nice and quiet. And pretty, too.
1.
There are hardly any trees downtown now. They cut down a lot of trees when they built new stores. It's not as green anymore.
2.
My school still looks the same as ever. It's hardly changed, except now there's no fence around it. I think it looks nicer without it.
3.
Remember that building with all the windows on King Street? They tore it down, and they're going to redevelop the site. It's probably for the best.
4.
We do all our shopping at the new outdoor market near our house. There used to be a supermarket there, but it wasn't very good. So some people got together and started the outdoor market. Everyone loves it. In fact, it's very crowded there on the weekends.
5.
There never used to be industry in my hometown. People used to enjoy the beautiful scenery. Now no one comes because of all the factories and traffic.
6.
The most popular place in town for kids used to be the disco. But that's gone now. Now most of the kids just hang out on the corner.
1.
I just love living here. The best thing is that I never have any trouble finding things to buy. There are some great bookstores around here, and I love just going there for an hour or so to see what's on sale.
Yeah, that's nice.
We do need some better restaurants, though. There are too many fast food places. They should open a place that serves really good seafood. I'd love that.
Me too.
2.
The only thing I don't like about my city is the mall. Everything is too expensive there. They should have a few cheap stores, too.
What about downtown? Is there anything to do there?
Oh, sure. There are at least a dozen great places to eat downtown. There's Chinese food, sushi, and even a Greek place.
Wow, that's great.
3.
I think the city council does a great job of keeping the streets clean. There isn't a lot of trash all over the place.
That is nice.
But we could use more green space. They should build a few more parks downtown.
That's a good idea.
4.
This city is so boring at night. Nothing ever happens. They should really open some clubs or discos.
You're right about that.
On the other hand, I love that there's almost no crime. You can walk anywhere, even at night, and feel completely safe.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
5.
The traffic in this city is pretty bad. Some of the streets are just too narrow. They should definitely build some big new highways.
What about the public transportation?
It's great, actually. The subway trains are clean and fast, and they run all the time. I just wish I lived near a station.
6.
You know what makes this town so good? It's such a healthy place to live. The air quality is good. I guess that's because there are no factories around here.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But, of course, no factories means no jobs. It can be very difficult to find work around here. They should bring more businesses here.
That's true.
Unit 13, Special Days, page 50. 2. Let's listen. People are describing holidays and special events. Listen and number the pictures. 1.
It's on December 25th. Well, for many people, it's a family day. We decorate a tree with lights and everyone exchanges presents under the tree. Kids are excited because they think Santa Claus brings them their presents. We also have special songs that we sing.
2.
It's a day in April when people play funny jokes or tricks on each other.
3.
It's on the second Sunday in May. Most children give their mom flowers or a gift to thank her for all she's done for them. In some families, she gets breakfast in bed or she's taken out for dinner.
4.
It's on the evening of December 31st. Lots of people have parties that start late and go on until long after midnight.
5.
This is a day in the spring when adults celebrate kids and share special times with them. Sometimes the children get special gifts. In some countries, kids are given free admission to museums and amusement parks.
6.
This is October 31st. Children wear scary costumes and visit their neighbors and ask for candy.
1.
Well, I always have a quiet birthday at home with my husband, George. He takes over the kitchen for the day and bakes a nice cake for me. I prefer that to going out to a restaurant.
2.
I usually invite my classmates to go out and party with me. About 10 of us get together. We start out at a restaurant, and then we go dancing or something. Last year, we went to 6 different clubs in one night. It was wild. It's the one time a year when my parents don't care if I stay out late.
3.
My 2 children always take me out to a restaurant for dinner. I'm glad they do that instead of spending a lot of money on presents. They're still in school, so they can't afford to buy expensive gifts.
4.
I always celebrated my birthday when I was younger. I'd have a big party and invite everyone I knew. Sometimes I'd have more than 50 people at my place. Those were the days. I don't do anything like that anymore. Since I turned 40, I'd rather not remind myself that I'm a year older. Now I just watch a video at home and go to bed early.
5.
My parents usually let me invite all my friends over to my house for a party. Usually, I have about 25 people over without their parents. We always have a lot of fun, opening presents, watching videos, and singing along to the radio. Stuff like that. My parents are great. They stay upstairs, so they won't bother us.
6.
My best friend usually takes me out to dinner. We've been doing this since we were in high school, and it's pretty fun. She pays for the meal, but I don't let her buy me a present. To tell you the truth, I buy myself a present. That way I always get something that I really want.
1.
I'm a big fan of Valentine's Day. It's one of my favorite days of the year. I love opening and reading those cards and trying to guess who they're from. And last year, I got a real Valentine, too. You know, from someone who really liked me. That was so romantic.
2.
I don't know why people still play tricks on April Fool's Day. Last year on April 1st, my coworker played a really horrible trick on our office. He moved around all the stuff on everyone's desks, so no one could find what they were looking for. It was a total waste of time.
3.
Christmas these days is really terrible. People spend way too much money on presents. They should give that money to people who really need it, like the homeless. That's what I did last year. I bought a few presents for my wife and my kids, and then I gave the rest of my holiday money to charity.
4.
When I was a kid, I never liked Halloween much. It was too scary. And now that I have 2 children of my own, it's even more frightening. I don't let my children go from door to door and ask strangers for candy. The world is too dangerous for that. Last year, my kids just went to a party at a friend's house, and that was fine with me.
5.
Christmas is a special time for me. It's the only time of the year that I get to see some of my relatives. Last year, our whole family got together for a big Christmas dinner. It was great. We're all big talkers, so everyone had a funny story to tell.
6.
I don't look forward to New Year's Eve. Those parties are the worst. There's way too much food, and you end up eating too much and staying up too late, and you feel terrible the next day. And the noise. Last year, the people next door had a huge, noisy party that went on until 5 in the morning.
Unit 14, Fashion, page 54. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about fashions from the past. Listen and number the pictures. 1.
Oh, look at this. Typical early 60s. That's when guys started to wear their hair long, and girls wore their skirts really short. Remember the miniskirts and boots?
2.
This must be the 1920s, the Roaring '20s. I love the dresses women wore then. Very straight, and they came down to just above the knees. And they wore their hair short and usually straight. Men looked handsome, too, with those wide trousers. They listened to jazz and did these crazy dances like the Charleston. What a wild time that was.
3.
This is the late 60s, early 70s, of course. Look at this woman's big, long skirt. It's very colorful. And the guys wore jeans and T-shirts with peace signs on them. It seemed that all young people had long hair.
4.
This must be the 1950s, when boys had their hair slicked back and wore really bright jackets and those very tight pants. I wonder how they ever got into them, or out of them for that matter. The girls wore tight sweaters and wide skirts.
5.
Oh, this is the late 70s or early 80s. Both the guy and the woman have punk hairstyles, and their hair is dyed these really wild colors. The funny thing is, some people still look this way.
6.
This has to be around 1910. People dressed very formally then. Men had suits with long jackets, and they usually wore hats. The women wore long dresses and capes. Very elegant.
1.
I just ran into Mary. Wow, she's really changed.
Really?
Oh, yeah. She used to look really wild, you know, with all that big hair and makeup. And that leather jacket.
Sure, I remember.
Well, that's all gone. Now she wears plain blouses and her hair is much neater.
Weird. Do you know why she changed?
Yeah. She's going to college now, so she wanted a different look.
2.
Betty's dressing differently these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's a change for the better. That blue suit she used to wear wasn't so great.
Yes, I thought the same thing.
Now she's wearing this fantastic red suit.
So why the change?
I guess her new job has a better salary, so she can afford to buy some new clothes.
3.
Have you seen Jerry lately?
No. Why?
Well, he's really changed his look. He used to have that preppy look. You know, the tan pants and shirts with collars and short hair.
And now?
Now he's got long hair in a ponytail, and he always wears black.
Interesting. What made him change?
I heard his new girlfriend asked him to do it.
4.
David's really changed the way he looks lately.
Really?
Yeah. I never thought I'd see him dressing the way he does now. The tight blue jeans, the gold necklaces. He's even wearing his shirts unbuttoned.
No way.
It's true. He used to wear that suit and tie everywhere, but not anymore.
What happened?
I heard he broke up with his girlfriend.
5.
I think Karen looked a lot better before she changed her look.
What do you mean?
Well, first of all, she cut her gorgeous long hair, and she used to wear those great casual pants. I thought maybe she didn't even own a dress.
That's true.
But now she always wears an expensive suit.
Why did she change?
She had to. She got a big promotion at work.
6.
Have you seen Steve Jones since he graduated from college? He looks so different.
Really? How?
He wears a suit and tie every day.
You're kidding.
I know, it's strange. In college, he was always wearing his old jeans and a denim shirt. He looked so relaxed all the time.
What made him change?
He found a job at a bank, so he's got to look good for the customers.
1.
I just bought these. Do you like them? They're Italian and they're made of genuine leather. They'll look great with my new pants. They're so comfortable to wear. I walked around in them in the store, so I know they won't hurt my feet. They were a pretty good bargain, too. Only $125.
2.
What do you think of it? I really need it for work. These days we have to dress up at the office, so I can't just wear a shirt and tie. It's made of wool, so it'll be nice and warm in the winter. And I like the way it buttons up the front. It was on sale for $75. Not bad for something that's imported from England.
3.
This is made of silk, and it was made in China. It's very light, and I love the way it feels. I was surprised that they had one in my size. I always have trouble finding things that fit. They're usually either too long or too short, but this one is just right. It covers my knees. I thought it was a bargain for $200.
4.
These will be great for the weekend. They're made of good, strong denim. And they were made in the U.S., so I know the quality is good. That's important to me. My old pair shrank when I washed them, and now my legs don't fit in them. These new ones are a darker blue than I usually wear, but I'm sure the color will fade after a while. I can't believe they were only $29.95.
5.
Does this look okay on me? It's not too short, is it? It's French and really well made. I thought the color was great, and I have a couple of blouses that will go perfectly with it. It's made of wool, too, so it will be very warm. It wasn't cheap, $95. But I know I'll wear it all the time.
6.
These will be great for tennis. They were pretty expensive, $115, but they're Korean and look very well made. They're made of real leather, of course, and not just rubber. And I like these little stripes down the side. My tennis is really going to improve now.
Unit 15. Preferences. Page 58. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about their preferences. What do they prefer? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Do you travel a lot?
Oh, sure.
Which do you prefer, traveling by train or by plane?
Well, the thing I like about a train is it's so comfortable. You can get up and walk around. A plane is faster, sure, but getting to the airport can take hours, and it's such a hassle.
2.
Do you prefer living in a house or an apartment?
Well, I used to live in a house. I had a nice yard and we had lots of space, but it was too much work, taking care of the yard and all that. An apartment is so much more convenient.
3.
Would you rather study American English or British English?
Well, first of all, they're both very similar. But overall, I think American English is more useful. British English does sound very nice, though.
4.
Would you rather work in an office or a department store?
Well, I think working in a store is more interesting. You get to see more people. Office work gets very boring after a while. I should know. I've done it for years.
5.
Which would you rather learn, German or Spanish?
Well, German is an interesting language, and it is useful in Germany. But Spanish is used in Spain, Central America, South America, and even the U.S. Studying Spanish makes a lot more sense for me.
6.
What kind of music do you like?
Well, I like all kinds of music, but I don't care for rock very much. It makes me feel old. I guess country western is my favorite. I like the words of the songs. They may be corny, but I like them. 1.
I love Mexican food. I like it hot and spicy.
Yeah, I love it too.
Here, Try some of this. I think you're really going to like it.
Boy, this is delicious. Water! Water!
2.
I guess I'm going to try to get a job in an office when I graduate. I think I'd really enjoy office work.
Really? I don't think I'd like working in an office at all.
3.
You know what I like to do when I want to relax? Lie down under a tree somewhere with a good book.
Oh, yeah? I just can't read outdoors. Usually the insects drive me crazy. I guess I'm just not the outdoor type.
4.
I guess my favorite kind of music is country. I like music I can sing to.
Me too. I like country music. Do you like Garth Brooks?
Oh, yeah, he's fantastic.
5.
In the summer, I play a lot of tennis. I really love it.
Do you? I'm not good at tennis, so I hardly ever play it. I prefer a game that's not quite so active.
6.
Well, when I have free time on the weekend, I like to work on my car.
Hey, that's great. Me too. I just bought this old wreck. Want to come and have a look at it on Saturday?
Sure.
1.
I hate those group tours. You know, the guide picks you up at the hotel every day, and you have to go and see all the sights. I prefer traveling by myself. That way I can relax. Relaxation is very important to me. I have a very stressful job, and this is my only chance all year to lie on the beach and do nothing.
2.
When I go out to eat, I want to have a nice conversation, and I don't like to be disturbed. That's why I prefer quiet places. I hate those loud, trendy places. They play loud music in the background, and they're full of loud people. You have to shout so the person you're with can hear you. It's really annoying.
3.
I prefer staying at one of those small places because I think the service is better. The people at the front desk remember your name, and the housekeeping people are really nice. It's like staying in someone's home. I don't like those big tourist hotels. They might have more facilities, like a gym or a swimming pool or a golf course, but it doesn't matter to me. What I care about is service.
4.
I don't know how people can stand living downtown. It's too noisy. You can never find parking, and it's dangerous too. No, I prefer living in the suburbs for a lot of reasons. For one thing, I like to have a lot of space. That's a big thing for me. I need at least a couple of bedrooms. And I also like to have friendly neighbors around me.
5.
A small one is great, especially if you live in a small apartment like I do. That's what I prefer. A small one I can pick up and carry. Big ones are too hard to take care of. And some of them are very noisy, too. You shouldn't have those big ones unless you're living out in the country where they can run around and get plenty of exercise.
6.
If I could choose what I do, I'd prefer helping people. That's really what I'm looking for in a position. I know that a lot of people are mainly interested in making a lot of money, but I really don't think I'd like that kind of work. Making a lot of money just isn't that important to me. I'd rather do something that is good for everyone, and not just myself.
Unit 16. Phone Messages. Page 62. 2. Let's listen. People are leaving phone messages. What kinds of messages are they? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Hey, George. This is Tim calling. I just wanted to say how happy I was to hear about your promotion. That's great news. You really deserve it.
2.
Hi, Terry. It's Paula. I am so sorry I wasn't able to come to your party. I heard it was really fun. Unfortunately, I came down with food poisoning and I just couldn't make it.
3.
Hello, this is the library calling for Mrs. Graham. This is just to remind you that several books you have borrowed are overdue.
4.
This is Mr. Kent from St. Albans School. I'm calling for Tracy's parents. Unfortunately, she's been absent from school again. Could you please call me back to clarify the situation?
5.
Hey, it's Wendy. It's Andrea's birthday on Friday. I was thinking maybe we could organize a surprise party for her. What do you think?
6.
David, this is Rosie. How are you? Are you doing anything on Saturday? There's a great jazz group in town. I know you're into jazz, so I thought you might like to go.
1.
Rob, this is Louise calling. It's 2:30. You said you'd meet me at 1:30 in front of the restaurant. Well, I'm not waiting any longer, and please don't bother calling me again.
2.
This is Mr. Norris from the carpet store. I'm afraid that we tried to get the stain out of your carpet, but we haven't been successful. Dry cleaning hasn't helped, so unfortunately there isn't anything more we can do about it. Would you be able to come in and get your carpet this week?
3.
Paul, this is Anne. It's 8 p.m. and I'm still tied up at the office, so I don't think I'll be able to join you for dinner. I feel really bad about it, but we'll definitely have dinner tomorrow night. Promise. Bye.
4.
This is Mr. Grant in apartment 1201, calling for Mrs. West. I'm afraid I had a slight accident in the parking lot and did some damage to your car. I'm really sorry about it, but I'm sure that my insurance company will pay for the repairs. Please give me a call when you get in. You can reach me at 555-4026. 5.
Hi, Donna. This is Judy Peterson calling. You'll never guess where I am. I'm at the airport with Don and the kids. All 5 of us are here this time. Isn't that great? Hope you've still got room for us. We'll be at your place by 6 o'clock. Don't worry about dinner. We can just send out for some pizza. Our treat.
6.
Hello, I'm calling the Burtons. This is Mrs. Brown from across the street. Your dog got into my garden today and destroyed half my flowers. I'd say it's going to cost about $250 to replace them, not to mention my time and effort. Call me as soon as you get this message. The number is 916-5741.
1.
Hello, Computer Technologies.
Hello. Could I speak to Pamela Gordon, please?
I'm sorry. She's at a meeting right now and won't be back until this afternoon. Can I take a message?
Yes. This is Ken Morita calling from Island Travel.
Is that Morita?
That's right, Ken Morita.
Got it. And can I have your telephone number, please?
Sure. It's 834-5627.
5627.
Right again. Can you tell her that the time of her flight on Thursday has changed?
All right. Flight time has changed.
Yes. Her flight on Thursday now leaves at 10:30, not 9:45.
Okay. I'll pass along the message.
2.
Good afternoon, First National Bank.
Yes. Is Jane Taylor there, please?
I'm sorry, she's at lunch right now.
Could I leave a message for her?
Yes, of course.
This is Brian from the bookstore.
All right. Can I have your phone number?
It's 477-3316.
477-3316.
That's right. Please tell her that the book she ordered is in today, and she can pick it up any time.
Okay, Brian. Got it. I'll give her the message just as soon as she gets back from lunch.
Thank you.
3.
Hello, Chicago Language Center.
Yes, can I speak to Mr. Garcia, please?
He's teaching a class right now. Would you like to leave a message?
Sure. My name is Jeff Lee. I'm in his 7:30 Spanish class, but I can't make it tonight.
Hold on. Is that spelled L-E-E?
Actually, it's Leigh.
Ah, I see.
And my number is 627-6082.
Is that 627-6082?
Right. Anyway, I can't come to Spanish class tonight because I have to work late on a big project. Can you tell that to Mr. Garcia, please?
Sure.
Thanks.
4.
Hello, Benny's Cafe.
Hi, is Benny there?
No, he just stepped out to the bank.
Oh, could you give him a message, please?
Sure.
This is Rosie Brown from Pet World.
Did you say Pet World?
That's right, and I'm Rosie Brown. The number here is 867-5309.
867-5309.
Right. He was talking about bringing his dog in for a shampoo and haircut. Please tell him he can come on Saturday morning around 11 o'clock.
Okay, come on Saturday morning, 11 a.m., shampoo and haircut. That's for Benny's dog and not for Benny, right?
Correct.
I'll tell him as soon as he gets back from the bank.
Thanks a lot.
Unit 17. Past Events. Page 66. 2. Let's listen. Frank is describing what happened to him on Sunday. Listen and number the pictures. 1.
My boss invited me to his birthday party on Saturday night.
2.
I thought I'd better take him a nice birthday present, so I bought him a really nice tie.
3.
When I got to the party, my boss's wife met me at the door and invited me inside.
4.
Then I went in. All my friends from work were there.
5.
I heard my boss's voice behind me as he came out of the kitchen.
6.
I turned around to say hello, and guess what? He was wearing exactly the same tie as the one I had bought him.
1.
Some friends and I were in the elevator going up to my apartment when suddenly the elevator stopped between floors and wouldn't move.
2.
I went to the airport to pick up my boss. I was so nervous that I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. When I got to my car, I realized I had left my briefcase on the floor in the arrival terminal. Gee, with my boss there and all, I felt so stupid.
3.
I was in bed in the hotel half asleep when suddenly I smelled smoke. Then I heard the fire alarm.
4.
I wanted to go sailing, but just as I arrived at the lake, a storm broke out and it started to rain. It wasn't a very strong storm, but it was much too cold for sailing.
5.
I was driving down Pleasant Street yesterday. I was singing along with a song on the radio and probably wasn't paying as much attention as I should have been. All of a sudden, a dog ran out in front of my car. I couldn't believe my eyes.
6.
Last weekend, I went out on a date with this beautiful woman from my history class. We were at this really nice restaurant, and when the bill came, I realized that my wallet was missing. I guess it fell out when we took a taxi to the restaurant. I didn't know what to do. The bill was really high.
1.
It was a pretty bad snowstorm, and the roads weren't in very good condition. I guess I was driving a little too fast, and I went into a skid. I couldn't control the car at all. I went off the side of the road and into the snow. Luckily, the car wasn't damaged and I wasn't hurt, but I couldn't get the car to move. I just had to stay in the car and wait. Finally, after about half an hour, someone in a big truck came by and pulled me out.
2.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. We ran into a bad storm and the plane was really bumped around. The passengers were pretty scared, and of course, all the kids were screaming and crying. It only lasted for 10 minutes, but those 10 minutes felt like an hour. I don't know how the pilot got the airplane out of that storm, but he finally did. And the rest of the flight was perfect.
3.
All I wanted was to get the newspaper. You know how some hotels leave it in front of your door? Anyway, I stepped out of the room to get it, but the door shut behind me. I tried to open it, but it was locked. And my key was inside the room. I was wearing just my pajamas. Luckily for me, someone from housekeeping came by and she had a key.
4.
We were staying in this hotel in Thailand when there was a fire. I was so scared when I heard the fire alarm go off. I got out of the hotel as quickly as I could. The hotel was badly damaged, and some people lost their clothes and money. In the end, though, we were lucky. No guests or staff members were injured.
5.
I was out shopping with a friend, and I saw some kids selling raffle tickets to raise money for a charity. It was for a really good cause, so I bought a ticket. I didn't think much more about it, but in the end, I won first prize. It was a good prize, too. A weekend trip for 2 to Las Vegas.
6.
I was at a restaurant with my wife when this famous rock star sat down at the table next to us. I couldn't believe it. I wanted to ask him for his autograph, but my wife said I should let the man have his dinner in peace. In the end, when my wife was in the restroom, I asked the waitress if she would ask the rock star to sign my menu, and believe it or not, he did.
Unit 18. Vacations. Page 70. 2. Let's listen. People are discussing vacations with a travel agent. Which trip do they prefer? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Well, if you like the beach, the sun, and the surf, you might consider our Hawaiian vacation package. Or we can also arrange a trip to a beach resort in the Philippines.
Well, I've been to Hawaii a couple of times, and I always enjoy it, but I've never been to the Philippines. I think that would be fun for a change.
2.
If you like snow, we could book you at a ski resort. We have some great vacation packages if you like skiing. Or, for a warmer vacation, we can arrange a jungle trip to the Malaysian National Forest. It's very popular.
Well, I've just bought some new ski equipment and I'm dying to try it. I have to say that I'm not too keen on the jungle trip. I just hate all those insects.
3.
I'd like to do something really different for my vacation this year.
Well, here are a couple of possibilities. How about a trip down the Nile River? Egypt is wonderful this time of year. Or maybe you'd like to spend a week in the Australian outback.
They both sound interesting. But I guess I'd prefer the Australian trip. The Nile River might be just a little too exciting.
4.
I'd like to do something exciting this vacation. I don't want to just lie around on a beach.
How about whitewater rafting down the Colorado River? It takes you right through the Grand Canyon. That's really exciting. Or we could send you on a 10-day African safari. That's also very popular.
The safari trip would be great sometime, but I only have 1 week. I think I'll go for the Grand Canyon trip.
5.
We have a couple of trips you might be interested in. One is our Southeast Asian trip. You go to Thailand, Singapore, and Indonesia. The other is our tour of China.
China? I've never been there. I hear it's fascinating. I've already been to Thailand and Indonesia, so I think I'd like to visit China this time.
6.
Let me tell you about a couple of trips that might interest you. We have a 2-week tour of Europe. It's a bus trip. You travel in nice, comfortable motor coaches. Then we also have a train trip across Russia.
Oh, I love trains. And I've never been to Russia. I'm not too fond of bus trips. I get sick in cars and buses.
1.
I'm so excited about my trip to Asia. I've never been there before. First, I'm flying to Singapore from the U.S. I'll be spending 3 days there because I hear that there's a lot to see and do. I'll also be spending 3 days in Seoul. I hear the nightlife there is great. Then we go from there to Hong Kong. I'm planning to do lots of shopping there, so I hope 2 days is enough time to buy everything I need. I would really love to go to Beijing for a few days, but unfortunately, this tour doesn't go there. After Hong Kong, we'll end up in Thailand for 5 days, so I guess I won't be able to get to Tokyo or Malaysia on this trip. Oh well, I have to save a few places to visit on my next vacation.
2.
Well, our trip starts off in London. We've got a week there. We will also take the bus up to Oxford for 2 days to see friends. We also wanted to get to see Cambridge. I hear it's beautiful, but we won't have time this trip. Anyway, then we head to France. We have 5 days in Paris, which will give us time to see all of those museums. I wish we were going to spend a few days in Germany, too, but this trip doesn't include it. But we do go to Switzerland for 3 days. I'm really looking forward to that. Then we end up in Italy for the last 5 days of the tour.
3.
We start off in Los Angeles. We're going to stay there for 3 days because we want to hit the beach and see the sights. We're not going to go to San Francisco this time because we've been there before. Then we're off to Denver to visit my sister. We're going to stay there for a week. I hope that's enough time because I haven't seen her since last Christmas and we have so much to talk about. We were thinking of going to Chicago after that, but we just don't have time. So it's straight on to Washington, D.C. and New York. We've got 2 days in Washington and 3 in New York. We'd really love to get up to Boston for a couple of days, but it probably won't happen. Maybe next time.
1.
After graduation, I'm going to fly to Europe and spend a couple of weeks traveling on my own. I'll be in Germany and France mostly. There are so many things I want to see and do. Museums, restaurants, clubs, cafes, all that stuff. I know my parents worry about me traveling alone, but I just prefer it that way. I guess it's because I want to be free. On those group tours, everything is planned for you.
2.
I'm taking a trip to New Zealand. I hear it's really quiet down there, and the people are really friendly. I want to go to small towns that don't get a lot of tourists. Then I could just check into a cheap hotel and do my own thing. I'm really looking forward to this trip. I guess it's because I need to go somewhere quiet. The city where I live is very noisy, and the people are rude.
3.
When I'm in London, I want to see as many plays and concerts as I can. I also want to go to all the big museums and art galleries there. I'm going to go dancing as often as I can, too. Basically, I want to see and do everything. I really want to make the most of the week I'll be there. I guess it's because I need some excitement. My life has been so boring this year.
4.
I'm going to go to Thailand this winter. I don't want to spend any time in Bangkok because I've been there before. This time, I just want to relax on a nice, quiet beach. I can swim and snorkel every day if I want to, but I don't have to do anything. I just want to relax. I guess it's because I've been so busy at work recently.
5.
I'm spending a month in Mexico. It's going to be great. I don't want to spend any time in Mexico City, though. There are too many tourists there. Instead, I want to go to one of those small old colonial towns. I guess it's because I want to practice my Spanish. I studied the language for 3 years in college, and I think I'll get to use it a lot more in a small town.
6.
My friend and I are going to Australia. It's perfect for us because Australia has a lot of cheap hotels for backpackers. They're great places to meet young people and travelers from all over the world. I'm really excited about this trip. I guess it's because the beaches are great there. I heard the east coast of Australia has some of the best surfing in the world.
Unit 19. The News. Page 74. 2. Let's listen. These are the beginnings of news reports. What kind of reports are they? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
The stock market in New York suffered heavy losses today. U.S. exports declined for the third month in a row.
2.
15 people were injured in a collision between a tourist bus and a truck on Highway 27 this morning.
3.
Police are investigating the theft of a diamond necklace worth $30,000. The necklace was stolen from the Serena department store on Saturday.
4.
Over 25,000 people turned out last night at Flushing Meadows to watch the finals of the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
5.
75,000 fans of singer Elton John were disappointed last night. His free outdoor concert at Central Park had to be postponed because of heavy rain.
6.
A severe storm caused traffic to come to a stop on all major highways. The airport was forced to close down most of the morning.
1.
A fire destroyed the famous President Hotel last night. Firefighters helped all the hotel guests escape safely from the building, although some people lost their clothes and luggage. Firefighters say the fire probably started in a guest room, possibly because a guest fell asleep while smoking.
2.
Government health officials have closed down Ocean Gardens, a well-known local seafood restaurant. More than 10 people came down with food poisoning after eating at the restaurant last week. The officials say that the problem was probably caused by the water in the restaurant's fish tanks.
3.
A group of Japanese students was rescued yesterday after being stranded for 10 days in the Australian outback. The trouble started after a vehicle the students were traveling in broke down. Their radio wasn't working either, so the students had to survive by eating snakes, insects, and berries. Luckily, the students are all in good health.
4.
Rock singer Jimmy Wild didn't arrive for his concert last night, disappointing over 80,000 fans. A representative of the singer said that he was sick, and the concert would be rescheduled for next month. No one knows exactly what Jimmy Wild's illness was, but sources say he probably had a sore throat.
5.
Coast Guard boats are searching for a fishing boat with a crew of 4, which has been missing for 2 days. Shortly after the boat left land, it ran into a very bad storm and sent out a message for help. The Coast Guard thinks that the boat probably sank during the storm.
6.
And this just in. Bai Yun, the giant panda at the city zoo, has finally given birth to twin cubs. Zoo officials are delighted at this event, since pandas are very rarely born in zoos. Right now, the baby pandas are very small, about the size of a mouse.
1.
As a result of the heavy rain over the weekend, city officials fear there may be a flood. Many people living near the river have had to leave their homes. Over 30 families are now homeless. Most of them are staying with friends and relatives. Volunteers worked throughout the weekend to place sandbags along the river.
2.
Over 20,000 people so far have visited the National Museum to see the collection of works by the popular Colombian artist Botero. That is the largest number of visitors the gallery has had for several years. This is the first time that Botero's work has been shown in this area, and the collection includes some of his best-known paintings and sculptures.
3.
Several hundred people are fleeing their homes in California because of a forest fire burning out of control only a few kilometers away. The fire began 5 days ago. Hot weather, wind, and a very dry summer are helping the fire spread very quickly. Firefighters have come from as far away as Alaska to help put out the flames.
4.
A customs official at Kennedy Airport was very surprised yesterday when he checked the baggage of a passenger and found over 50 live snakes, some of them very poisonous. The government believes that the passenger was planning to sell the snakes in the U.S. illegally. They would have been worth up to $1,000 each. A few snakes escaped from the suitcases, but airport officials say that all of them were caught within an hour.
5.
A protest by over 5,000 farmers caused major traffic jams downtown yesterday morning. The farmers were in front of the federal building to demand lower taxes on meat and agricultural products. They say that the high taxes make it difficult to earn enough money for their families. Later in the day, government representatives promised to study their demands.
6.
A spokesperson for two of the country's largest airlines, Northern Airlines and Air International, has announced that the two airlines are discussing a possible merger for next year. If the merger goes ahead and the two companies combine, it could be bad news for travelers. Many business experts think that the new company would raise ticket prices.
Unit 20. Opinions. Page 78. 2. Let's listen. People are expressing opinions. What is the topic of each opinion? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
I think it's a great way for people to develop pride in their country. It can make people feel good about themselves and their team, and I think that's a very positive thing.
2.
Well, the problem with it is that it doesn't help develop a country. It brings in a lot of money, sure, but the money stays in the hands of a very small group of people.
3.
I don't mind them, because many of them are really very entertaining. Also, you get to know what new things are available.
4.
I can't see anything useful in it. It's just a huge waste of money. I mean, can you see any point in trying to find out if there's life out there?
5.
Well, if anyone is crazy enough to try it, let them. Who in their right mind would want to jump off a high bridge with just a rope tied around their legs?
6.
Well, they are great company, especially for people who live alone. Having one helps you relax, and I read somewhere that it can even lower your blood pressure.
1.
Well, space exploration is pretty expensive, but I think it's worth it.
Why is that?
Well, that's how we learn more about the universe we live in. That's pretty important, isn't it?
2.
There are way too many commercials on TV these days. They really make me mad.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Because they always interrupt my favorite TV programs. Some of those commercials are really long.
3.
I think the Olympic Games are great. I can't wait for the next ones.
Really? Why?
Well, they encourage an interest in sports. They also help bring about better international understanding. We need more of that.
4.
Every city needs lotteries, I think.
Why do you think that?
Well, because they can raise money for the city. They're a much better way of raising money than taxes.
5.
Well, action movies might be fun, but I don't think they are really good for young people.
Really? Why do you say that?
Because they are way too violent. I never let my kids watch them.
6.
If you ask me, people in this city shouldn't be allowed to have those big dogs.
How come?
Because most apartments are too small for a big dog. They don't have anywhere to play.
1.
I think more attention should be given to studying foreign languages at school. Don't you?
Sure, absolutely. I think students should be required to learn Spanish. It's easy to learn, and it will help them get better jobs.
2.
I think lawyers have the best jobs in the world. What do you think?
I'm not sure I agree. It's true that lawyers make a lot of money, but they also have to work really hard.
3.
The programs on TV these days are the worst. Even with 100 channels to choose from, everything is terrible.
You're right about that. I think it's because most TV programs are written for teenagers. There's nothing for older people to enjoy.
4.
Have you used the bus lately? It's awful.
I know. The last time I took the bus, I had to wait for an hour for it to come, and the driver was really rude.
5.
Do you ever use the internet to buy things? I've started using it lately, and I love it. How about you?
Well, I don't know. I'd rather shop at stores. Shopping on the internet is fast, but I like to try things on before I buy them.
6.
I'm telling you, this rainy weather is driving me crazy. I hate it.
I understand how you feel, but I'm actually glad it's finally been raining recently. You see, it's really good for my garden.
Unit 21, Famous People, page 82. 2. Let's listen. These conversations are about famous people. Listen and circle each famous person's job. 1.
Hey, Lisa, are you free Thursday night? Some friends and I are going to see the new Halle Berry movie.
Oh, I didn't know she had a new one. She's so beautiful. Didn't she win a bunch of beauty pageants when she was younger?
Yeah, she did. And she's so talented, too. She's the first African-American woman to win the Academy Award for Best Actress.
Yeah, that was really exciting.
2.
Tony, how's it going?
Not bad. I've been reading about Gandhi.
Oh, yeah? He helped India become independent, right?
Right. It's interesting stuff. He inspired so many people. But did you know he started out as a lawyer?
No, I had no idea. So when did he become such an important leader in India?
Not until he was in his 40s.
That's amazing.
3.
You look tired today, Nick.
I know. I was up all night reading the new Stephen King novel.
He's the one who writes those horror stories, right?
That's right.
And haven't they made a lot of his books into movies?
Yeah, like Carrie and The Shining. They're really good, and the books are even better. And really scary, too. This new book is giving me nightmares.
4.
How's it going, Amy?
All right. I'm writing a research paper on Leonardo da Vinci, so I've been spending a lot of time in the library.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Isn't he that guy who painted the Mona Lisa?
Right. He also did a lot of other great paintings, and he was a scientist and an inventor, too.
5.
Hey, Josh, is that a Bob Marley poster?
Yeah. Do you like his music?
I sure do. He made reggae music famous all over the world. I love that song of his called No Woman, No Cry. Have you heard that one?
Yeah. I've got a great version of it on this concert video. Do you want to watch it sometime?
6.
Hey, Jen, do you know where Albert Einstein was from? I need it for this crossword puzzle I'm doing.
Well, he's from Germany originally. That's where he discovered the theory of relativity. It completely changed the study of physics.
Yeah, I know. I just thought he was American.
No, but he lived in the United States for a long time. He taught science at Princeton University.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's edition of Legendary Lives. Our subject this evening is James Dean, actor and hero for the young people of his time. Edward Murray is the author of a new biography of Dean. Good evening, Edward.
Hello, Tina.
Edward, tell us what you know about Dean's early life.
He was born in Indiana in 1931. But his parents moved to California when he was 5. He wasn't there long, though, because his mother passed away just 4 years later. Jimmy's father sent him back to Indiana after that to live with his aunt and uncle. He was pretty active there. He played baseball and basketball, rode horses, and played ice hockey. He used to ride his motorcycle all over the farmers' fields, speeding and chasing cows.
So how did he get into acting?
Well, first, he acted in school plays at his high school, where he won a drama award. He also won art and sports awards in high school, and a speech contest, too. He went to college in California, and that's when he got seriously into acting. He did modeling for advertisements and appeared in some TV shows. In 1951, he moved to New York to do more stage acting. In fact, he won an award as Most Promising Newcomer for 1954.
Well, when did the movie career really start then?
1955. His first starring role was in East of Eden. It was fabulous. James Dean became a huge success. But the movie that really made him famous was his second one, Rebel Without a Cause. That was about teenagers who felt like they didn't fit into society.
So how many more movies did he make?
Just one more. Then he died in that car crash in California in 1955. He loved driving fast. In fact, he was driving his Porsche on his way to take part in a car race when he died.
What a tragedy. He only made 3 movies. So what made him the legend he still is today?
Well, I guess his looks, his acting ability, his short life, and maybe the type of character he played in his movies. Many young people saw him as a symbol of American youth.
Nelson Mandela, the first African president of South Africa, was born in 1918. Both his elementary and high school education took place at schools run by a church. His father was an assistant to an important African chief, and as a young boy, Nelson often helped his father. While he listened to people telling the chief about their problems, Mandela decided he wanted to become a lawyer so that he could help his people with their struggle for freedom. After high school, he studied for a bachelor's degree in law. In 1942, he started his political life by joining an organization called the ANC. ANC stands for African National Congress. Over the next few years, he and other members of the organization worked hard, and the ANC became a powerful national movement. It fought against the laws of the South African government because these laws made life difficult for black people. Even though most of the country's population was black, the people who ran the government and had all of the power were white. The ANC encouraged people to resist the government in a peaceful and nonviolent way. Mandela became deputy president of the ANC in 1952. He was now an important leader of black South Africans. As a lawyer, he helped poor people stay on the land where they lived, instead of being forced to move to areas where the government wanted them to live. He also fought against laws that said that black and white people could not live in the same areas or go to the same schools. During the early 1960s, the government began watching Mandela carefully, and he was soon arrested. He was sentenced to life in prison in 1964. He was not released from prison until 1990. Even while he was in prison, he inspired people in his own country and others all over the world. After he was released, Mandela continued to try to achieve the goals he had set almost 40 years earlier. In 1994, he became the first democratically elected state president of South Africa. He remained president until he retired in 1999. Today, the world remembers him as South Africa's best-known and best-loved hero.
Unit 22, Food and Nutrition, page 86. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about their eating habits. What does each person eat now? Listen and check the correct picture. 1.
I never pay attention to my diet. I eat whatever I want. There's nothing I like more than a big, juicy steak for dinner, and chocolate cake and ice cream for dessert. Yum.
2.
I'm trying to cut down on cholesterol, so I've stopped eating eggs, cheese, and red meat. I'm eating a lot more fish and chicken.
3.
I'm trying to put on weight. Everyone tells me I'm too thin, so I started eating a lot more meat and dairy products. It's great. Now I can go out as often as I want for hamburgers and milkshakes.
4.
I've got a real sweet tooth. I love chocolate, candies, and things like that. But I know it isn't healthy, so I've given all that up. Now the only sweets I have are fruit.
1.
Well, from what you've been telling me, Mr. Grant, it sounds like you're already eating more vegetables. That's good. But you should definitely eat less cheese. It has a lot of sodium and fat in it. That might explain why your cholesterol level is so high.
2.
I'm glad to hear that you've been eating fish more often, Linda. It's much better for you than meat because it has a lot less fat in it. It will probably help your high blood pressure, too. Now, you should also try to eat more fresh fruit, too, especially oranges and bananas.
3.
Well, Chris, I think it's great that you've been eating a lot of vegetables. I see you've been having fruit with every meal, too. That's excellent. But you say you've been feeling tired and weak lately, so you should eat more meat.
4.
Miss Barton, I'm wondering about all the bread you've been eating. I know you need to lose weight, and sometimes eating a lot of bread makes that very difficult. So I'd like you to eat less bread for a few weeks. Otherwise, your diet seems pretty well balanced. You're eating meat, but not too much meat, as well as a lot of fruit and vegetables.
5.
You're right, Mr. O'Brien. You're definitely losing too much weight. It's probably because you haven't been eating meat. Now, even if you don't eat meat, you still need protein. Why don't you try eating more eggs and cheese? They've got a lot of protein. I'm sure that will help.
6.
Well, Mrs. Johnson, you said you've been eating a lot of candy and chocolate. I know we all love sweet things, but chocolate can be really bad for your skin, especially when you're under stress. That's probably why you have this skin problem now. I suggest you stop eating chocolate for a few months. Instead, eat more fruit.
Cheese is one of the world's oldest foods. It was made by the ancient Egyptians over 3,000 years ago. It is a valuable food since it contains fat, vitamins, and protein. It is used both as a food itself and in many different types of cooking. There are hundreds of different types of cheese around the world, but they are almost always made from the same thing, milk. Cheese is made from several different kinds of milk, including cow, sheep, and goat's milk. Most cheese in the United States is made from cow's milk. Cheese also contains water. A soft cheese, like brie, contains more water than a hard cheese, like Parmesan. Cheese is produced through a process called fermentation. The process of making cheese was probably discovered by chance. Ancient people used to make bags using the skin from an animal's stomach. When they used these skin bags to carry milk, bacteria from the animal's skin reacted with the milk to begin the fermentation. The result is cheese. Today, cheese making is a very scientific process. First, the milk used in cheese is pasteurized, which means that it is heated to remove all bacteria. Then, specially cultivated bacteria, called cultures, are added to the milk. The milk is kept fairly warm during this period to help the cultures grow. As they grow, the bacteria cultures sometimes release bubbles of carbon dioxide. These bubbles help make the holes in Swiss cheese. Next, as the milk ripens, it forms a solid substance. This substance is called curd. The curd is removed, and the water is drained from it. The curd forms the basis of the cheese and may be treated in different ways. Finally, once it is matured and dried, the cheese is ready to eat.
Unit 23, Predicaments, page 90. 2. Let's listen. Listen to the conversations. What is each person's predicament? Circle the correct answer. 1.
You know, I'm in an embarrassing situation. I've got a house guest staying with me. He's been here a while, and I don't know when he's going to leave. Do you think I should ask him?
Yes, I would if I were you.
2.
One of my best friends borrowed $5 from me and seems to have forgotten to repay it. I'm too embarrassed to remind her. I don't think it's worth mentioning it, do you?
No, it's only a small amount, isn't it? But next time, make sure you don't lend her anything.
3.
This guy at work is always inviting me out, and I really can't stand him. It's so embarrassing. Do you think I should tell him I don't like him?
Oh, I wouldn't. He'll get the message eventually.
4.
You know, this friend of mine is always borrowing things from me. One week it's my camera, and the next week it's my stereo, and she always forgets to return them. Do you think I should refuse to lend her anything else?
I certainly wouldn't lend her anything.
5.
Oh, guess what? My friend invited me to his graduation party, and I completely forgot about it. Maybe I should tell him I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. He would probably be pretty annoyed if he knew you just forgot it.
6.
You know, I have these real nice neighbors. The only problem is they have this dog that barks whenever they go out. It's driving me crazy. Do you think I should say something to them about it?
Why not? I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
1.
I was looking at some dishes in the department store yesterday when I dropped and broke one. I thought for sure they'd ask me to pay for it, but the clerk was nice and said I didn't have to.
2.
I went out for dinner last night at this Italian restaurant. When I checked the bill, they had charged me for things I hadn't even ordered. I talked to the waiter about it. He apologized and said I didn't have to pay for the things I didn't order. In fact, he gave us the whole meal for free.
3.
I had a date with my girlfriend last night, but on the way there I got stuck in traffic. I got to the movie theater nearly half an hour late. She was annoyed with me and said she doesn't want to go out with me anymore.
4.
A funny thing happened to me yesterday. This girl came up to me on the street and thought I was that famous actor Tom Cruise. She even asked me for my autograph. I wasn't really sure what to do. Finally, I didn't want to disappoint her, so I went ahead and signed Tom Cruise's name. I hope I did the right thing.
5.
When I got home on Friday, all my friends were waiting inside my apartment. They wanted to have a surprise birthday party for me. Unfortunately, my apartment was a mess. Can you imagine how I felt? We had to spend a half an hour cleaning up before we could start the party.
6.
There was this guy who sat behind me in class. I'm sure he cheated whenever we had a test. He was always looking over my shoulder. I didn't know what to do about it. Finally, I asked the teacher if I could sit in another part of the classroom. I felt a lot better after that.
1.
My brother-in-law is okay, but there's one thing he always does that I can't stand.
Oh, yeah?
Every time he comes to our house, he goes straight to the refrigerator and helps himself to something to eat. The other day he finished 2 sandwiches that I was planning to have for lunch.
No way.
Yeah. At first I didn't want to say anything, but now I've decided that I'm going to speak to my wife about it.
2.
Do you know Charles, that guy in our computer class?
Sure, I know who you mean.
Have you noticed his breath? It can be pretty awful sometimes. I'm surprised someone hasn't spoken to him about it. But I guess it's an awkward thing to mention to someone.
Right. I know what you mean.
Hey, maybe I should send him an anonymous note about it. That's a nice way of handling it, don't you think?
It sounds good to me.
3.
My aunt is staying with us this week. My parents gave her the bedroom right next to mine, and she snores very loudly. It's impossible to sleep at night.
You mean it's that loud?
Oh, it's horrible. And when I told my parents about it, they didn't help me at all.
That sounds frustrating.
You bet it is. I guess I'll have to sleep in a different room while she's here. That way, I won't hear the noise.
4.
Did I tell you that Lisa borrowed some money from me? She got in a traffic accident, and the repairs to her car were very expensive.
How much money did you lend her?
$1,000.
Wow. Has she paid you back yet?
Not yet. She's waiting for some money from the insurance company. I'll just wait until she gets it. It's no big deal. I trust her.
5.
My cousin is acting weird these days. He's depressed, and he talks to himself all the time. He probably needs to see someone about it, maybe a psychologist or something.
You sound pretty worried.
I am. I'm going to talk to his parents about it. I don't think they're aware of the problem because they don't see him very often.
6.
Do you know that when I got home from work today, that guy next door had parked his car in my parking space again?
Really? I thought everyone was supposed to park in their own parking space.
They are. You know, I hate having problems with my neighbors, but this is the 3rd or 4th time this has happened. I'm going to call the building manager and ask him to do something about it.
Unit 24. Global Issues. Page 94. 2. Let's listen. People are talking about issues. Which issue do they think is most important right now? Listen and circle the correct answer. 1.
Well, the government has done quite a bit to reduce air pollution. It's certainly better than it used to be. Now we have to do something about water pollution, which is still pretty bad.
2.
Crime is a growing problem in the country right now. Sometimes it's because people are unemployed. I think what we really have to do is reduce unemployment. That should help the crime problem.
3.
The subway and bus service has definitely got to improve. But the government should really focus on improving conditions for people in the cities. So many people need better places to live, and the problem is getting worse.
4.
Unemployment is not as big a problem as it used to be, but most of the new jobs are for unskilled workers. We need to spend more on education so that we have a better educated labor force.
5.
These days there are enough jobs for almost everybody who wants to work. But getting to work is another story. We need better highways and a new subway system to make it easier for people to get to work.
6.
There has been a decrease in deaths from most common diseases. Unfortunately, AIDS is a growing problem, especially in the cities.
1.
I grew up around here, and the river has always been really polluted. Industries were dumping all sorts of chemicals and waste into the water, so the river really smelled bad. You wouldn't even think of swimming there. Well, I decided to do something about it. My neighbors and I wrote a letter to the mayor asking him to force these industries to clean up the river. I really hope the government listens to us.
2.
Over the last few years, we've been having much hotter summers and warmer winters. When I was a kid here, we used to have a lot of fluffy white snow on Christmas. Now we don't get that, and there hasn't been much rain for a couple of years. I guess this is the effect of that global warming I keep hearing about in the news. That's why we've decided to move to Chicago. There's plenty of snow and rain up there.
3.
When did the world get so crazy? That's what I'd like to know. For years, I thought everything was fine. Now all I read about in the newspaper is countries fighting each other, and dropping bombs, and explosions, and terrible things like that. You know what I did about it? I stopped reading the newspaper. Now, whenever I want to read something, I just pick up one of those sports magazines. No bad news in there.
4.
It's almost impossible to get across the city in less than an hour and a half during rush hour. There are too many cars and vehicles on the roads. There are only 2 freeways, and they just can't handle the traffic. The only thing that moves quickly in this city is the subway. That's why I took an apartment right next to the subway station.
5.
One of the biggest problems we face is garbage. Where can we put it all? In the past, everything used to get buried in giant landfills, but in many countries today, the landfills are full and there is no room to start new ones. That's why I started recycling my garbage. I do it every week. It's really the only solution.
6.
In the future, everyone will have to live in giant high-rise buildings if they want to live in cities. These new buildings might be 100 stories tall or more. If cities keep getting bigger, the only way they can expand is upward. I can't stand crowded cities myself. That's why I moved to a small town in the country.
In developing countries, more and more people are moving from the country to the cities in order to find work. This is because in many countries, it is often no longer possible to make a living as a farmer. The result of this movement is the development of what are sometimes called megacities. These are huge cities with populations of up to 15 million people. People who move to megacities usually believe that cities have many benefits to offer. They believe that there are more jobs available, and that salaries are much higher than they are in the countryside. They think there will be a lot of new, affordable housing to choose from. And of course, these people are attracted to the exciting, glamorous image of the big city that they have seen on television and in movies. They even expect to live longer and healthier lives in cities because the healthcare is better there. But in reality, life in these megacities is not always as good as people hope. Jobs are often difficult to find because many of the people who move to the cities have little education and few job skills. As a result, there is a huge supply of unskilled workers to choose from, so salaries are very low. Housing can also be a problem. Many people end up in huge, crowded slums on the outskirts of these cities, and their families may become sick because even though the health care is better in the cities, it is also much more expensive. The growing population of megacities causes many other problems for city governments. Air pollution increases, for example, as does crime. Getting rid of garbage is extremely difficult. There is not much space available for public parks and gardens, and as these cities continue to grow, these problems will become even more difficult.